When a woman goes out of her way to discredit you, to put you down, to make anything you do, anything you're succeeding at look small, she's a hater and a jealous person. Even if she doesn't know you, that spirit of jealousy, that spirit of envy, that negativity, sometimes that lays dormant in other women until they see the success of another woman or they see something positive and it'll flow up out of them. Case in point, I saw a TikTok video the other day of a young lady receiving some nails, press-on nails from another creator. And I think this person has a nice, TikTok influence or whatever. She's kind of famous. So on TikTok, and this lady sent her some nails. And in her review of the nails, she was very rude. She said, yeah, these are ugly. Oh, these are cute for little girls, but that's ugly. What was you doing? You didn't even take your time. Like, she's saying all of this on the camera, not understanding that she's directly impacting the money of this young lady. Now, when somebody displays a wicked and negative spirit, look, the opposite will happen. Where you mean to be nasty and rude, somebody will actually take interest in that product, and that young lady will still succeed in her business. And this brings me to my point. When a woman goes out of her way to discredit you, even when you are very successful, when you get compliments, when you're seeing the fruit of what you're doing, and somebody still go out of their way to discredit you, it's because they are a hater and they do not have self-love within themselves. When they see another woman doing well, they don't know how to receive it, and thus they have to say nasty things. It was absolutely unnecessary. And this is where your class, where your femininity, where how you carry yourself as a woman truly comes in. You can express your dislike for something without putting somebody else down. I can understand if you don't like it, you don't have to pretend that you like it. But she could have softened the blow a little bit. And we have this time where women feel like they have to be so brash, so harsh with their words, like they got to like twist the knife in to make you feel it in order for them to make a point. And as feminine, confident, classy ladies, we know how to express ourselves without completely destroying somebody's self-image and destroying their business. If she didn't like it, all she had to say was, it's not necessarily my style of nails, or I don't really care for the color, but I appreciate the artistry. I appreciate her sending me this item, and I will definitely pass it along. Thank you. She could have left it like that. Or better yet, as women, when you have discretion, you don't have to say anything if you don't like it. You can just receive it, say thank you, and that thing will collect dust in your closet. You know, as women, I think the urge and the desire to go out of our way, and I'm saying our, even though I'm not like that, but I am a woman, so in unity, I will say when women go out of their way to discredit and put down another woman, when they use overly harsh words and rude behavior in order to be right out mean, this is a learned behavior, and especially for Black women. I speak to Black women, even though this is not just for Black women, but I speak to us specifically because, number one, I am a Black woman, and number two, I have been the recipient and I have heard and been in the environments where I have heard women, especially women of color, be very harsh, be very negative, have put each other down to no end. And a lot of times it's over nothing. It's like we use our words to tear each other apart. And even when there are necessarily good things happening, we still find a way to pinpoint the negative. Like a woman can look her absolute best. She could be feeling herself. She could feel good about herself. She can, you could tell by how a woman is walking and how she's carrying herself and how she's talking, that she's confident and that she feels good about herself. Let's say, you know, one day you went out the house and you had a beautiful outfit on and you were going to an event and you don't normally wear these type of clothes and you just feel really good. And a woman comes along and says to you, oh, you got that big bump on your head, or you got a pimple somewhere, or what's wrong with your ear? Like, these are things that women cannot control. But a woman who is mean-spirited, who is rude, she will pinpoint the one thing. You could be looking absolutely spectacular in every other area, and she will pinpoint the one thing you absolutely don't have any control over, and say something about it in order to make you feel a little bit, self-conscious. Suddenly now you're thinking, oh, I don't really feel that cute anymore. Or is this really nice? Or is this really that? And I know a lot of this kind of behavior typically happens with women when they're in their 20s, teens, 20s. But believe it or not, a lot of these bully, mean girl type of habits still happen to women in their 30s, 40s, and so on. You have a lot of women who have such a chaotic spirit. They're full of chaos. They're full of drama. They're full of toxicity. They really don't know how to treat other women. They don't have that sisterhood mentality. They look at every other woman as if they're their enemy. They're threatened by other women, easily threatened by other women. And when you're easily threatened by another woman, you just say things and do things to try to make another woman feel like it's something wrong with her. And ladies, this is where your confidence comes in. Because if you are a confident, feminine woman, you're living in your femininity, you're living in that essence of who you are as a woman, undoubtedly you're going to attract haters. You're going to attract jealous people. And in this instance where I just gave you that story, I don't believe the young lady that made the press-on nails, I don't think she knows her personally, so that's not really the case. But this other lady who received the nails, her behavior was the ideal of a mean-spirited woman, of a woman who is generally brass and rude with her speech. And when a woman is more feminine, she can dislike something but still know how to let you down easily or express her dislike without making you feel like a fool. And when women are more masculine in nature and when they're definitely insecure about themselves, they feel good when they put down the work or the image of another woman. You have to understand that. And understanding that will help you as a woman to stay confident, to not be shaken by the words or the actions of a jealous woman. When you understand that women who speak that way and act that way are typically insecure, even though this lady, she is an influencer, I believe she's pretty popular on TikTok. So it's not like she doesn't have something going on for herself, if you want to call TikTok something going on for yourself. She has notoriety, she has that following, I guess, but she still went out of her way to say the word ugly. This is ugly, this is that, I don't like that, this look like it's for little kids, belittling it. And as women, those backhanded compliments where she gave a compliment to the nails, but said, oh yeah, that looked like it's for little kids or something. Was all of that necessary? That kind of thing. And as feminine women, sometimes it's hard for us to deal with those type of women because they're always looking for issue where there is no issue. They don't know how to just let things be. Like, if you don't like it, that's fine. But why did you have to say all of that? And for me, I take issue with a person, especially when it's attached to your money. If somebody goes out of their way to put down a product or a service, especially of another woman, and then I'll go back to it, yes, of another Black woman. If we are trying our hardest as women to do well in the world, to make names for ourselves, quote, make names for ourselves, to be in business and to be women of industry and women of influence, as a woman, it is not a good look to go out of your way to put down another woman, whether she be Black or another nationality, but especially Black women, because a little bit of history, knowing where we came from and the things that we have to overcome and still have to overcome till this day, to hear another Black woman put down a creator or a creative, a woman of color, that's very disheartening. And I think, once again, it goes back to that learned mentality, because when you are around other women who are celebrating, putting each other down, with our reality TV culture and how women constantly backbite each other, they act like they have genuine concern, but yet they talk behind each other's back about said concerns. And I understand that as women, a lot of our nature, sometimes we can be a little bit gossipy, talk about stuff. But there's a difference between talking about something and trying to put somebody in a negative light. And when somebody is a hater or a jealous person, no matter how great the thing is that you're doing, they will still try to put that in a negative light. If you're a woman who is working in business, you're starting your own businesses, you're doing different things, and let's say you're married, they'll say something to the effect, well, she's doing all these things, she's doing that. He must not have no money. She's doing a lot of stuff. I don't know. He must not be doing nothing. And I have to say, that kind of thing is where people who are very envious and threatened and they don't feel good about their lives, they have to find something. They can't just accept the fact that, hey, this woman, she has drive. This woman, she has talent and she has resilience. And when a woman has that, that makes you a powerhouse and that makes you a magnet for jealous women, for women who like to hate and find issues where there are no issues. So going back to how we can express ourselves as women while still being classy and feminine and not being brash with our speech. You do not have to fake that you like something. You do not have to fake that you like someone. But there is such a thing as being cordial and keeping the atmosphere light. A woman who is in her femininity, a woman who has true class and decorum about herself, she is not going to stir up drama and make tension in the environment. If she feels that she cannot control herself, and women who are feminine and classy have self-control, but if you feel like you cannot control yourself, you will remove yourself from that situation, or you will address it in a way that doesn't make you look like the stereotypical angry black woman or a crazy woman if you're not black. Now, I understand that there are going to be certain circumstances where you just can't control yourself. You're going to be a certain way. Look, we're not actors. We're not performers. We all have our moments. And I always say, the only thing that can really get me out of character and get me kind of like don't care about anything is my children. When it comes to matters of my children, you probably won't see me talking so nice, depending on what it is, because that mama bear instinct comes out. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about when you are in the company of a woman who you don't necessarily like, or maybe she did something or she gave you something that you don't like. You don't have to go out of your way and say, did you just start? Like, this is a good one that I've heard before. When I first started braiding my hair, this is a real story. I first started learning how to braid my own hair, and I had just put the hair in, but one of the ladies that I was around, she said, oh, what, you about to take your hair out? And I had just put the hair in. And to me, it didn't look that bad. And she knew that the day before I didn't have those braids. But she went ahead and said, oh, you about to take your hair out? Because she wanted to go out of her way. That was her little slick way of saying that my braids didn't look that good. They look messy. That was her slick way. Instead of her coming out saying your braids don't look good, she said, oh, you about to take your braids out? The little passive aggressive thing that women do. That kind of stuff. Instead of her just minding her business, and I truly believe that minding your business saves lives, okay? That's just my opinion. Minding your business keeps everything where it needs to be. But when a woman is insecure, once again, because I still was looking cute with my braids, even though they was a little bit messy, I didn't know how to grip, it looked nice. And I still looked cute and I still got compliments. And that even more so made her little hateration come out and make that little comment. So when you are a confident woman where you're trying to just do things for yourself, everyday regular things, you have to anticipate the little snarky, catty, snide remarks of insecure, jealous, mean-spirited women. And you have to ask yourself, like, where does that come from? Why are women like that? Why are some women like that? Why are some women so nasty, so rude? Why do they feel like they have to say something negative all the time? In my opinion, I think a lot of it goes back to their home life. So being a woman who's always been in the workforce and you work in office environments, you're just out in the world, you can tell when a woman doesn't really have a great home life because of how she talks when she's at work. Now, I'm not saying we all don't have moments when we're at work, of course, because it's work. Sometimes people are tired, they're having a moment. But if a woman's typical nature is to be rude, to be mean-spirited, to just talk down to everybody, to just be mean, it's because, in my opinion, her home life is not that great. And I'm not putting down any woman. If you're a single mother, you do that, or you do it to the best of your ability. I'm not saying any of this to put anybody down. But a lot of times when a woman doesn't have a man in her house, when she doesn't have anybody else to come home to, especially if she's doing it by herself, that can be frustrating. Or let's say she doesn't even have children. It's just her and the cats or whatever. Or her home life is just not the way she wants it to be. And it's not to say that you put those women down, but if a woman is dissatisfied with her life, that's the point I'm making. If a woman is dissatisfied with her life, seeing your little confident self, seeing you trying new things and being light and smiling and being nice to people and just, you might not feel 100%, but you're doing your best to still be a kind woman, to be a nice woman. And she sees your little cute self, confident, smiling, trying to make conversation self, walking through the office. Meanwhile, she's just mean and miserable, and she just want to get this day over with and don't talk to me. When she sees you being that way, that's going to trigger something in her that's going to cause her to want to do anything and say anything she can to get you to come down to her level. See, your happiness can irritate people who are jealous and who are haters. Your happiness and your confidence and your tenacity and your resilience can irritate someone who has given up on life and has accepted that they just have to be miserable with everything. Your confidence will make a woman who is threatened by you feel like you are infringing on some kind of invisible territory that you don't even know about. She will try to make you feel like you are doing something wrong by trying to see the bright side of things and actually motivated to do things in life. If you're a woman, like I used to come into my office and I sell handmade jewelry. So I would tell them about that, give out business cards and all of that kind of stuff. And there was always this one coworker who was like, here we go. Like, no, I'm good. Thank you. No, I'm good. She see me coming with my business card. No, I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Tag, you can't even take the business card. Like, you can't even take it. Why? Like, is it that bad? You can't even just look. It's like, women are really like that. And when you really understand the game and see how a lot of women are, it helps you as a woman to just stay confident and just keep doing what you do and to know they're out there and to not even worry about them. But that little stuff, I mean, it can be exhausting to deal with. It can be annoying because you really truly don't understand, especially when you're a woman who's more lighthearted. You're going about your life. You don't really focus on what other people are doing unless it's presented to you. And then you try to celebrate everybody. You try to celebrate, encourage, inspire. For me, I am a natural encourager. I like to see people win. I like to specifically see women win. I like to see us cute, wealthy, happy, healthy, and full of the Spirit of God. That's what I like to see. But there are some women who get irritated if you have too much of any of those things. And I feel sorry for them because that's no way to be. Like, what pleasure does a woman get out of putting another woman down by saying, oh, your hair doesn't look great, even if the woman is feeling good about herself? Now, disclaimer, if you're a friend, a family member, don't let your girls go out here looking crazy. If they got on something that don't look right, if they might be doing something that is not right, you can encourage, critique, and correct without being rude and nasty and right out mean. I feel like I kind of have a little bit of a gift of knowing how to do that. Now, I have moments, and I have had moments where I just was straight up like, nope, that's ugly. I don't like it. But it was in its proper context. It wasn't just random. I don't randomly see women and be like, ugh. Like, that's just not me. Like, I don't know. I think because I am cool with me that I really don't do those kind of things. And women who are like that, again, I think it comes back to their home life, not being satisfied with what they have in their own life. And then number two, the upbringing. We cannot escape the fact that a lot of women have been brought up with some very mean and miserable mamas, aunties, grandmoms. They were all very nasty, all very rude, always willing and able to put another woman down at every opportunity they got. And once again, it's like a trickle down effect. When a woman is mean-spirited, when a woman is rude, when a woman is nasty and just goes out of her way to belittle other women, it comes from somewhere. It's not just like a random thing. And a lot of times it is the upbringing. I've seen videos of women and people celebrating little girls. I think they were in some kind of cheerleading troop or something. And instead of them like showing their numbers, saying, hey, you know, with the pom-poms and all of that, they walked up like, you know, doing all that kind of stuff and mean mugging and all that. And these girls, at the most, the oldest had to be like 10 years old, but they were walking up to the front of the line, mean mugging, doing all that kind of stuff. Instead of being cute, they had on the pom-poms with the barrettes and the little cute tutus and everything. You would think they would use that as an occasion to smile and to, you know, celebrate their cheer. I mean, they're cheer leaders. And yet, I'm pretty sure some adults coach them to be, once you get to the front of the line, me mug. I can't even me mug because it's just not me. It's just not me. But my point of saying this is that a lot of times it's a learned behavior. We teach girls sometimes at a very young age to be mean. We celebrate that. A lot of people clap for that. Like, what did you say to that girl today? Little girls in 3rd grade. What did you say to that girl today when she was trying to take your pencil? I said, back off. Oh, go ahead, Moo, go ahead. Go ahead. Like, we celebrate those kind of things. And I say we, not me personally, but a lot of times in the culture, and not just black people, it's all nationalities that tend to celebrate the little messy, mean behavior. So, once again, it starts with the upbringing a lot of times. Learn behaviors. Women are being taught from young girls how to be mean-spirited. And for me, that is something that I never wanted to teach my daughter. I taught my daughter that you have to be strong, you have to be resilient, you have to be confident, but know how to treat people. Don't be mean to people for no reason. And my daughter had a moment in her life where she thought being the girl that was going to be, you know, trying to overpower other people was the thing to do. And I had to quickly remind her that that is not what we do. That is not what we do. And I apologize because I live in the city. I had to kindly remind her that that is not what we do. We do not mean mug, and we do not, you know, just do things for no reason. We don't treat people meanly for no reason. So as women, we must be mindful to not use these mean, catty behaviors as a way of trying to overpower and make women feel less than what they are. It's not a good look, and it's not a good look for us as women. If we are teaching people that, okay, in order to get respect, especially as a woman, if we're teaching our girls in order to get respect, in order to get treated well, you have to be a bully, you have to be able to overpower, manipulate, and make other people feel bad, that's not a good look, and it's not feminine. And on this channel, we discuss femininity, womanhood, and I give you life advice. So, if any of that interests you, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. Dealing with rude, negative women can be very harsh. And when you understand that a lot of how they are comes from things that are out of your control, it doesn't affect you so much when they spew their venom at you. But in the meantime, ladies, be aware, and if you have these traits, if you have been susceptible or you grew up with a mean mother, a mean auntie, a mean cousin, and taught you that being mean is somehow cute as a girl, that putting other women down and being rude and brash with your words is cute, we really need to stop that behavior. There's a time and place for everything. I'm not saying that you're just going to be nicey nice all the time, let people walk all over you. But having class and decorum, that is not just a saying, that is something that we actually have to do as women. Even in the case where we don't like something, even in the case where, you know, something really triggered us and made us feel uncomfortable, or somebody is saying something and we just don't like it, you can express that without outright putting somebody down. And I'm not saying in the case of somebody harming you, I'm saying when somebody really feels good about something they're doing and you don't like it, you can express that without putting them down. That lady was way out of line in my opinion, and as women, we have to do better. All right? Ladies, the new you will irritate jealous, envious people. The people who didn't expect you to be the kind of woman that you are today. The kind of people who were accustomed to disrespecting you, putting you down, making you feel like you're less than. Those people will be your haters, all because you didn't let them distract you from your purpose. There are some people that see certain type of women that are more calm, more reserved, not stereotypically what they think you should be. And when you go against that, they use you as a target of their jealousy and their envy. They try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong for being different than those around you. See, people who have a jealous, envious spirit, they normally like to be carbon copies of everybody else. And when you're not doing that, they target you all because you choose not to act the same, choose not to think the same, choose not to dress the same. You want to be authentically yourself. And when someone is jealous and envious of you and feel like they can disrespect you, they will come at you hard, and you have to prepare yourself as a confident, leveled up, feminine woman. You see, you don't really get anywhere in life just blending in with other people and allowing people to dictate to you how to be. And I can tell you, for a lot of my life, while I didn't do that bullying thing, even though people tried, I could not be bullied. But I did allow people to suppress my personality, suppress my abilities, all because I was afraid of what they're going to think. I didn't want to seem like I was doing too much. I didn't seem like I was being too extra. I didn't want them to think that I thought I was better than them. But you know, as a woman, the more you grow, and especially as you get older, you know, with time and age, you truly don't care about how people view you or what they think about your life. One of the sayings that stays in the back of my mind is, and I think about that a lot, especially now that I'm doing YouTube, I tell myself, do I care about what people think about me, or do I care about what I'm eating? Do I care about what people say about me, or do I care about the fact that I can go buy whatever I need to buy, do whatever I need to do? When I think about those things, it really helps me to not care about what other people might think about what I'm doing. And the point of that is that you have to value your life and what you want from your life, and not so much somebody else's opinion. If you allow the opinions of other people to stop you from doing what you want to do, you will never level up in life. And there are some people, they're so jealous and envious of you. Those very people, those are the ones who thought they were better than you. Yes, a lot of times the people who are your haters, your biggest haters, are the people who used to think they were better than you. You have people, especially if you're not a woman who is a lot of drama, you know, you're not drama filled. You don't like all that conflict. You know, you just pretty much like to, you know, keep everything calm and peaceful. So you let people have their little ways and sayings and, you know, saying little stuff, doing little stuff. You don't care as long as it's not directed directly at you. Those people are the very ones who thought they were better than you. They didn't think you had anything to offer because you weren't constantly running your mouth when nobody asked you anything. And that's the one thing that jealous people truly have to understand. The people they hate on do a lot more observing than talking. I can speak for myself. I am a natural observer. I don't do a lot of speaking unless somebody's asking me something or I'm just having a regular conversation. But the people who think extremely highly of themselves to the point that they put down other people, those are usually people that are the biggest haters. I'm thinking of the scripture, and this is not a preachy message, but it says the first will be last and the last shall be first. And God really means that. The people who mistreat other people when they get to the perceived top, or they try to belittle people who they think are beneath them, those very people are going to be the people that they are hating on. They're going to look at you and say, why is she getting that? Why is she doing that? Look at her. Why? She doesn't even look like me. She doesn't even live where I live. Well, you know, it's deeper than where someone lives, and it's even deeper than money. See, your light And the light that you express in the world, when you allow God to really operate in you and you're being the kind of woman you're supposed to be and want to be, your light will irritate demonic, wicked people who are jealous and envious and haters, because they think because it's them, because of where they are, because of their status, because of how much money they have, they think they're better than you. But what they don't understand is that people who are truly favored, people who truly have that, that notoriety, and people truly give them favor and opportunities, it's because it's deeper than what they can do. It's who they are. And that's when jealousy gets deeply dangerous, because a lot of times your biggest haters, they're not jealous of what you have. They're jealous of who you are. And there's nothing you can do about that. You can't change who you are to please a hater. You have some women who are jealous of other women, all because they're not loud, they're not ratchet, they're not doing all of these things, constantly in drama and conflicts. They're not home wreckers. They're not all these different things. And because of that, they will not like you, and you might be a target for them. They will simply not like you. And this is what I'm talking about, jealous, envious people. They might not like you all because you stay to yourself. I have heard, oh, she's conceited. Oh, she thinks she's better than somebody. Oh, she don't like us. Oh, her energy is off. I don't like her. It's something about her I don't like. I've overheard these things about myself. This is a real story. All because for many years, and even till this day, I am the type of woman who, if I don't know you that well and I'm not trying to get to know you, I'm just in my own world, staying to myself, doing what I do, that is perceived as being conceited, thinking you're better, and all these different crazy things. It comes with the territory. And as women, especially if you are a more reserved woman, and I read a comment of a young lady who asked me, is there a balance between, can you still be loud and feminine? Can you still, I think she said, can you still have an opinion and be feminine, or can you still be outspoken and feminine? You can be outspoken, but in what way? See, women who tend to be jealous of the more reserved women, they don't like the fact that you know time and place, and that you're not just running off at the mouth saying anything. That's called having class. And when you have class, women will be jealous and envious of you, especially when they lack it. So you can't be a feminine woman and be outspoken, but outspoken in what way? You have to really understand time and place. But back to the original point, jealous, envious people, they will not like when you are the type of person who just stays to yourself. I never knew that being a young Black woman and being quiet would attract so many haters. All because you're not choosing to be a part of the gossip, a part of the rumors. You don't want to be a part of mess. You want to live a peaceful, simple life. And believe it or not, that will attract haters. That will attract people who are jealous and envious of you. And then also, if you're dealing with people who you might have a history with, people who know you or knew you from the past, the new you will irritate them. They will look at you as if you are doing something illegal, all because you don't want to be bothered with them. See, when you come into your new era as a woman and you're really like coming into your own and knowing what you like and what you don't like and who you like and what you don't want to be around, some of those people that you end up cutting off might be your very family and friends. And they might not understand why you don't want to be around them anymore. They might not understand why you're always in the house, or you're just going to work and then coming home, or you're just hanging out by yourself, or you have this other group of friends. It's not your job to explain any of that to them. As a woman, especially in your femininity, a lot of what we do is based on our intuition and how we feel. And if you feel uncomfortable around certain people, you don't have to justify and explain the reason why you don't want to be bothered with them. You just don't have to be bothered. See, I think for many women, we have been programmed to believe that we have to justify everything to everybody, that we constantly have to explain ourselves and explain the reason why we are the way we are, or why we are changing and moving the way we are. You don't have to do that. Let people assume what they want to assume about you. once again, it comes with the territory. And yes, people will be jealous. People will envy your life. They will look at you as if, oh, so now you don't want to be around us because of this. I have certain people in my life that I love dearly, but they are filled. They are chaos agents, agents of chaos. And I can't do it. Mentally, spiritually, physically, I just can't handle it. And then even when it comes to jealousy and envy, when you're dealing with people out in the world, like business, your workplace, your school, you're going to have some people that are jealous and that don't like you, all because you are sweet, you are calm, you are gentle. And most of the time, especially in the workplace, when you're dealing with people that feel like they know you and they really don't, and you have to remind them that they don't know you, you might, I'll give you a real example, and I'm not going to say which place this was, but I had a young lady, what I do, I'm guest facing, I'm dealing with guests, and, I'm taking a break. I had to take a break. I'm tired, and I don't wait for anybody to tell me to take a break. I'll take a break. I'll walk away. This young lady is new. And why are you doing this? Why are you back here? And in my way, I said, I'm sorry, are you talking to me? Why? I simply asked her why. And she just looked dumbfounded like, yeah, I'm like, you thought you know me, but you don't know me. And, that's not really anything but jealousy and envy. That's just when people attempt to try you because of your kind nature. And that's another thing you really have to get used to when you grow into that more feminine, calm, just classy way about yourself. There are going to be some people, especially women, if they're a little bit more masculine, they're going to try to strong arm you because they see your feminine, calm nature. And once in a while, you got to remind them, not me. You don't want, not me. But I'm just being goofy right now. But let me sip my tea. I do hope you get my point that a lot of people will be jealous and envious all because you are operating differently. And especially when you go against the grain if you're a Black woman. Stereotypically, we're supposed to be loud, obnoxious, we're supposed to be overbearing, we're supposed to, be controlling and dominating our men, we're supposed to be having 15 jobs and get no rest. And if you go against that, you'll have some women who think that you're jealous. They're jealous of you and envious of you. They'll call you bougie, all because you prioritize rest. See, I never knew, and I actually experienced this too. Prioritizing rest doesn't make you bougie. Prioritizing your fitness and your beauty and taking care of yourself, that doesn't make you bougie. But when you do those kind of things, as a woman should, women who are more masculine will be jealous and envious of you. And they will try to make you feel bad for doing basic things. Don't let them do that to you. I mean, taking care of your skin, taking care of your nails, your hair, eating well. Those are basic things that not just women, I think men, especially the nutrition part, should be doing too. But when you have women who are jealous and envious of you, they will try to put down any little thing about you. And especially when you have changed up your lifestyle. Now, when you are a woman that has changed and you used to be a certain way, you didn't really care about fitness, you didn't really care about what you ate, you just did and ate anything. And suddenly you change up how you are. There will be women who try to belittle you all because you're trying to eat a better diet. You want to live longer. Like, that's so weird. And that dynamic between women, that is the reason why many women opt to deal with just a certain subsect of women, like women who are like-minded, or they just stay to themselves. There are women out there who you will find, like I've said before, your tribe will find you. But a lot of times, especially within our culture, unfortunately, when you begin to level up and really start caring about the things that they think we shouldn't care about, like health and fitness and peace, women are going to be jealous and envious of you. They're going to say all kind of things. You might hear rumors about yourself that you just can't believe. And it comes with the territory. When you are becoming a new woman and growing into your own, expect the unexpected. Expect women to not like you. Expect for them to think that you think you're better than them. Conceited, bougie, all those different words, it's going to be thrown out there. It is what it is. And the best thing about getting older and growing up and maturing, eventually you just don't care. And eventually you don't feel like you need a whole group of people around you. While I am a girl's girl, but I have experienced what being a girl's girl can get you sometimes. When you try to befriend and be nice to certain women and they use that as an opportunity to try to disrespect you and belittle you and put you down for basic things, that's when you really have to have that heightened discernment and wisdom to know, okay, I love being a girl's girl and I wish there were certain things I could talk to this person about or hang out with them, but they're disturbing my peace. And you really have to know when to cut people off and to try again or let your tribe find you. Because jealousy and envy are real. And you see this a lot when you change. As long as you stay the same, people will love you. But if you change yourself for the better, you're going to attract haters and you just have to get used to it. All right? When jealous, envious people begin to crash out in jealous rage, there are three things, three behaviors, three traits that they will display. This is when jealous people cross the line from being petty, vindictive, to being outright harmful and dangerous. Being petty, being shallow, superficial jealousy, that can be annoying, but jealousy does reach a point where it becomes very dangerous and you have to know the signs. When somebody is about to crash out in jealous rage, number one, they will threaten you with physical violence. People who are so jealous, so envious, so enraged by you that they want to lay hands on you, that is a telltale sign that they are about to crash out in jealous, envious rage. When a woman, or a man for that matter, can no longer control their jealousy towards you, their envy towards you, so much so that they want to put their hands on you, that's when jealousy becomes an extreme problem. And that's when you no longer need to be confident. You no longer need to try to stand against it. You need to run. You do not sit there and tolerate a jealous, envious crash out. A person who is so enraged with jealousy and envy that they can't control it anymore. They want to do you physical harm. There are so many women who have been impacted by physical harm because of jealous, envious crash outs, jealous, envious, enraged people who can no longer control or contain their emotions. They were so jealous of the person that they resorted to physical harmful behavior. They resorted to putting their hands on them and sometimes ending it all. When somebody is so jealous of you that they no longer want to see you exist on the earth, and they are starting to do things that are deliberately trying to harm you, and it might start out as subtle, even with physical, behaviors, and I'm using my words lightly because of YouTube monetization. I don't want any issues. But when somebody seeks to harm you physically, it can almost be like a subtle thing in the beginning where they're not outright going to hit you or put their hands on you, but they might do subtle bumps or suddenly become more focused on touching you, making physical contact with you in some way, brushing up against you, bumping into you. They might want you to get comfortable with them, with shoving you. Every time they laugh, they shove you. Every time they say something, they have to push you. Every time you do something, they act like it's funny. They got to push you. People want to subtly, especially when they're jealous and envious towards you, they almost like to try and groom you to believe that certain physical behaviors are normal. A woman who doesn't like you, she has no business putting her hands anywhere near you. But when you have women who are so jealous and envious of other women and they're trying to fake nice, they have a habit of sometimes, laughing, being fake with you, and they'll just touch you or tap you and act like it's no big deal. They're trying to get you comfortable with that touch as if they didn't mean it that way. And the way I see it, because I believe in negative spirits, if you want to say negative energy, I believe in negative spirits. I am very reluctant to let certain people touch me, to let anybody touch me, especially when it comes to people I don't know or people I just straight up get a bad vibe from. Like, you don't have to touch me to laugh. You don't have to touch me or get into my personal space to tell a joke. But when somebody is jealous and envious of you and they're leading up to their jealous rage, where you might not really see it, but you can sense tension, they want you to be comfortable with them putting their hands on you in some way. How many times have you had an altercation with a woman, or she was jealous, envious, you had an argument, and they're trying to so-called calm you down, and they place their hand on you and say, I didn't mean it like that. Like, please no. You know, that fake cordial thing they do until they eventually crash out. Be very careful with letting somebody put their hands on you, because not just in a straight out violent physical way, but just letting them put their hands on you in general, because that negative energy, if you want to say that, or that negative spirit, I just don't play games with those kind of things, with those kind of people. And when you are engaging in physical contact with someone and they mean you no harm, you don't know how, the way I see it, how the enemy can use that to try to impact you in some way. So normally when somebody wants to do something physical to you, especially when they're a crash out, meaning they are a person who tries to contain their jealousy and envy. They try to fake, act like they're nice to you. They try to act like they like you. And then eventually they explode in their jealous rage. They can't control it anymore, and they want to actually do you harm. Sometimes you will see signs of that by how aggressive they are with you, even when there's supposedly no issue. Don't be the woman that allows other women to just pat them like, girl, stop playing, be this, be that. That's the reason why I am so opposed to women calling each other out of their names. I don't care if it's supposed to be cool, if it's supposed to be some kind of sign of endearment. Don't call me a four-legged dog. Don't call me anything other than my name, or maybe, hey, friend, something like that. But you don't call a woman a four-legged animal. Like, all these derogatory names that women are using toward one another, I guarantee you, when a woman is jealous and envious, it will no longer be that cute little pet name she's calling you out of your name. That will begin to be something straight up insulting and derogatory. As women, we have to take ourselves a little bit more seriously when it comes to dealing with people who might be on their way to end jealous rage, and about to crash out on us. Sometimes you see the signs right in front of you, but you take their overly aggressive behavior as somehow cute until they turn on you. So physical violence, when somebody, a man or woman alike, are so jealous of you that they want to do violence to you, that they want to fight you. They say things like they want to fight you. And a woman who's over the age of 30, I would say over the age of 25, it is very ghetto in nature to still be saying things like you want to fight somebody. But when a woman is so jealous of another woman and she feels like there's nothing she can do except to bring her physical harm, you might find yourself in a situation where now you're being called out in some way. And as I've said in my other videos, classy, unbothered women, we do not fight. We do not engage in unnecessary physical altercations. And what I mean by unnecessary is that if somebody's coming at you physically, you have to defend yourself, but we don't look and solve problems in that way. And when a woman is jealous and envious, when she's so enraged by you, when she's so jealous of you that she wants to fight you, that is an issue. I'll give you a small story. When I was 17 years old, I was working at a juicer, and I had a young lady that was working next to me at a pretzel place. And this young lady did not like me. She didn't like me. It was very obvious. And the reason being is because I was talking to a guy she worked with, and men showed me attention. And I'm not being conceited, but she thought this. I was cute. I had attention from guys. I was talking to different people, and she didn't like it. So I remember one night we were closing up. Mall was closed. We were all closing up. And she walks past the juice bar with a knife in her hand. She had a knife because she worked at a place where they had those kind of tools. But she didn't have to walk outside of the juice place with the knife. She walked past very slowly so that I would see her with it, and I overheard her talking to other people. What she was trying to do, she was trying to intimidate me, and she was trying to make me feel fearful as if she was going to do something to me. She walked past with the knife in her hand like she was going to do something. Naturally, of course, I'm calling security. Like, I'm not going to sit here and play those kind of games. I called security. Security came over just to be in the area as we were leaving, and that was that. Do you know? Now, this is sometimes the flip side of people and how weird that jealous energy can be. I saw this young lady as I was going to the train. It was just me and her, no people around. We were done work. I saw this young lady as I was walking to the train, and she was walking to her destination, just me and her in the street. I walked right past her. She said nothing. She did nothing. And this just goes to show you how sometimes do what I did. If you feel like you're in some kind of physical violence, threatened in some way, call the police, call security, whatever you need to do. But a lot of times people, women with that jealous, envious rage, with that just petty mentality, they are often women, as I've said in my other video, humiliation tactics. They want to do things for an audience. They want to get you fearful, intimidated in front of an audience, but when left to yourselves, they're like little mouses, like little mice. We were right there with one another. I walked right past her and she said nothing to me at all. See, women like that, I have to say, they are very much little mice. They're very cowardly. They're very, they need a lot of backup in order to feel good about themselves. So a lot of times when a woman threatens violence against another woman, when she's jealous and enraged by you, she will often need to do that in front of an audience. So don't be, surprised if suddenly a crash out, a jealous crash out, takes out their rage on you in front of other people. Because very rarely will it even count to a jealous, envious woman, a jealous, envious person, if they're not able to do harm to you or to humiliate you or threaten you in front of the masses. So when it comes to physical violence, when it comes to somebody trying to crash out on you, they're so jealous of you that they want to do you physical harm. You have to make sure that you are seeing the signs, and there is no time as a grown woman. There is no time to try to prove how tough you are. Feminine, classy, unbothered women do not operate that way. When you feel like you are in harm's way, you have to take the necessary steps to protect yourself, be it if you're going to counteract their attack or you're going to call the authorities. But do what you have to do to protect yourself. That is not the time to be trying to show somebody how tough you are. That is the time to get up out of there and get away from that jealous, wicked, demonic spirit. Number one. The number two sign that a jealous, envious person is about to crash out is that they resort to tactics like stalking. Now, I had someone mention about gang stalking, and while I've never really heard of the terminology, stalking is a very real thing. And when you start seeing jealous people, envious people who don't talk to you, who don't like you, but suddenly they're in your space, suddenly they are everywhere you are, they just happen to be around, people they're affiliated with, but these people don't like you. These people don't want to see the best for you. They just want to see you fail in some way, and they just happen to be every place you are watching you. Suddenly you start a new job, now they're working at that job. You start going to a gym, now they're at the gym. You start going to another school, now they're at that school. It's like somehow, some way, they want to try to be and act. They want to activate your space. They want to be where you are. A jealous, envious person who is about to crash out, they will make occasion to be wherever you are. They will invite themselves to places where they know you will be, even if they don't like you. Let's say you're a friend of a friend in common, and this person, they can't stand you. But it's one of those things, like the saying goes, they love to hate you. They have to be where you are. When somebody resorts to stalking, even though they do not like you, but they want to be in your space, that is a sign that you are in danger, and you need to protect yourself by probably calling the authorities and getting some kind of restraining order or some kind of protection in place for yourself. When somebody, especially men are good for this too, they have that mentality, jealous men, when they have that mentality that they can't have you, nobody can have you. A jealous man
sometimes they will resort to stalking. They want to pop up wherever you are, pop up at your job. So many women have been harmed by men who cannot, accept the fact that the woman no longer wants to be with them. And because of that, they resort to stalking. They even stalk the new person that they're with. They will pop up where their children are. I know this topic is not something very nice to talk about, but when it comes to jealousy and envy and jealous rage, when people are about to crash out, they can resort to stalking you. And stalking is not something to be taken lightly. Seeing a man pop up wherever you are does not mean you're that girl. It means that he has some kind of mental problem. And you should not take that lightly. If a man pops up and you do not want him there, you have a right to defend yourself in way of authorities. Don't try to counteract that yourself. And even with women who are so weird and such have that weirdo energy where now they're just around in your space, but they don't like you, but now they're doing the same things you're doing. And that's the reason why I tell women to make sure you keep your things, your ideas, and the things you plan to do private. Because when you're dealing with a jealous, envious woman who has stalker tendencies, not meaning she just pops up wherever you are, but she wants to copy your life and she doesn't like you. She doesn't admire you. She desires to sabotage you. A jealous, envious woman who resorts to stalking, you have to be very mindful of sharing your life with a person like that. You could tell her, and I've seen this happen, where you'll tell somebody that you're going to do something or you plan on buying something, and because they're so jealous, they'll go out and try to get the opportunity before you do. They'll go apply for the same job in hopes that the people choose them over you. They will do things to try to so-called block your opportunities, so-called block your blessings. And as I have said before, nobody can really stop what God has for you the way I see it, but they can definitely try. And people who are jealous and envious and intend to crash out in some way, that's when it gets to dangerous level. That's when it's like they don't care how you're impacted. They don't care if you're harmed physically, psychologically. They just don't want to see you succeed. Jealous people are very jealous of other people's successes. And when they begin to crash out, they will begin to plot on your territory. They will begin to infringe on territory that is already yours. They will begin to try and sabotage, which is the third thing that jealous, envious people do when they are ready to crash out. They want to sabotage your blessings, sabotage your opportunities, and sabotage the things you have going on for yourself. When a woman is jealous and envious to the point that she's ready to crash out, she will blatantly approach your man. And I say that because relationships seem to be a hot button issue, especially when it comes to jealous women who are jealous of other people's relationships. They will blatantly approach your man and offer their body to them willingly, whether or not your man takes the bait that says something about him. But when a woman is so jealous and envious of the happiness that you have in your relationship, she will have no problem inserting herself into your relationship. She will have no problem trying to seduce and attract the one that is yours. Jealous women are nothing to play with when it gets to that level where, jealous people, they already don't have any respect for you. But when they are about to crash out, they will pop up at your man's job. They will pop up at your man's DMs. They will call him, find his number, find his Instagram, find his Facebook, find whatever he has, and try to make herself more appealing to him simply because you have him. See, jealous, envious people who are about to crash out, people who are enraged with jealousy, they want to take everything you have. They want to see you fail at everything you do, and they don't want to see any signs of happiness in your life. There are women who are so enraged with jealousy and envy toward women that they will break up happy homes simply because they have a man that she wants. And instead of doing the work or becoming that kind of a woman that appeals to that type of man, she just wants to take what's yours. And it's not just relationships that jealous, envious, enraged people will try to sabotage, even your job opportunities. You could be in a high position in your job, and you could have someone actually want to see you fail in that position simply because they want to be there. They'll begin to make up rumors like you're stealing from the company. They will make up rumors that they see you doing things that you shouldn't do. They will make up rumors that you're sleeping on the job. They will make up rumors that you are doing inappropriate things. When people are about to crash out in jealous rage, they resort to lies, tricks, manipulation. They try to do all these other things to make other people see you in a bad light. When somebody's about to crash out in jealousy and envy, now they want the masses to see what they see about you, even though it's not true. They see you as this horrible person who doesn't deserve anything that they have simply because they're jealous and envious. And that's when the humiliation tactics take place. That's when the attempted bullying tactics take place. That is when the threat of violence and harm take place. And jealous, envious, enraged crash outs are nothing to play with. So when somebody tries to incite violence towards you, that is when you need to really be on alert and do the appropriate action, as in getting the authorities involved, getting yourself some protection, and doing what you need to do to stay away from those jealous, envious crash outs. The number 2 thing, stalking. When people are everywhere you are, when it's very clear and obvious, and I'm not saying in a way that makes, you're just thinking this in your head. I mean, for sure that this person is always where you are. The people that you don't like, they don't like, they're just suddenly in the same spaces. You need to watch your back and make sure that you are taking the necessary measures to protect yourself against their stalking. If you are able to approach them, if you're able to get somebody to approach them, there are, it's power in numbers in addition to your spirituality. I believe in protecting yourself spiritually, but there is power in numbers. Get people who can back you up. Never stand alone. And if you have to stand alone, make sure you get the authorities involved. And the number 3 thing jealous, enraged crash outs attempt to do is sabotage your opportunities. And that's why you have to master the art of becoming a more private woman. Stop telling these people all of your business, because sometimes you don't know if you're talking to your enemy. So as women, dealing with jealous, envious crash outs, that is no joke. When jealousy reaches a point of violence, it's no longer petty. It's no longer anything you could just stand, 10 toes down on. It's something you need to run from and make sure that you're able to counteract that in some way. Protect yourself spiritually, physically, and get away from those people. And whatever you do, do not try to keep giving people the benefit of the doubt simply because you don't want things to seem worse than what they are. If your intuition tells you, if your spirit tells you something is wrong, and this is not normal behavior, believe it. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it.